In commemoration of this year's United Nations International Day of World Indigenous People, which is observed on the 9th of August every year, the Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education, with support from MacArthur Foundation, organized a national stakeholder dialogue on the rights of FCT original inhabitants. While addressing newsmen at Abuja, Dr. Ibrahim Zakirullah, the Executive Director, Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education, stressed out on the need of this stakeholders dialogue as it will go a long way to fight for the rights of the original inhabitants of the FCT and redress the marginalization in their ancestral land.
Many years after they gave out their land for Abuja capital, today the original inhabitants are stateless, they are landless, they don't have representative in the federal cabinet, and of course, even their children, they don't have state they can call their own. If they go to school to register, when they feel FCT, they will tell them there is no state like FCT. They either feel Nasarawa or Niger State. So this is the discrimination that they have been suffering over time.
He also called on all FCT original inhabitants to sit up and fight for their rights.
The Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education, through the support of MacArthur Foundation, is supporting them to reawaken their voice, to put their issues before the government and the international community. Because it's important the way they are going about their case now. They are going about it lawfully and peacefully. And perhaps maybe that is why the government is not listening. And we are telling the government, it is not only those that are violent and unruly that they discuss with, negotiate with, and seek to address their problem. It is high time they listen to the original inhabitants. The place where Aso Rock is built today, the National Assembly, is cemetery of where some people bury their loved ones. It's ancestral grave of some grandfathers of some original inhabitants.
The Director, African Office, MacArthur Foundation, Dr. Kole Shetima, said Nigeria as a whole should recognize the rights of original inhabitants and value the contribution they have made to the nation.
We never had any program that was dedicated to the people of Abuja. And so when we had the opportunity last year to make this, we were very, very excited because we believe that we as a foundation, we have a responsibility. We as a foundation, we should also show our own good neighborhoodness, not just only to have our office in Maitama, but also to show that we value the people who have created and who have donated their land to make us to be able to be comfortable in their own community. Also, we think that this is something that I think that we as a people in Nigeria, we should also recognize the rights of indigenous people, and we should value the contributions that they have made to us in our society, and we should do all that we can to ensure that their rights are also protected.
Faith Nwadishi, the Executive Director, Center for Transparency and Accountability, urged Nigerians to join their voices to fight for the rights of the FCT original inhabitants and call on the government to work on the FCT community that do not have the basic amenities.
The geographical location we have of the FCT today is not the first place we have had as our national capital. In Lagos, when you are approaching Lagos, you will see the three, you will understand that this is significant to the people of Lagos State. But in coming to Abuja, at the city gate, there's nothing that depicts the fact that there are people who own this land. There's nothing there. We have 36 states and the federal capital and the federal capital territory. Yet you have people represented from the 36 states on the Federal Executive Council, and there's not one person from the geographical location called the FCT. It's important that when people sit around a table and you have somebody who understands, that's why they say he or she who wears a shoe knows where it pinches. When you have somebody from that geopolitical zone who sits on that table, is able to portray and put forward their issues passionately differently because it's coming from the person who is experiencing it. A lot of us know Gariki, but some of us don't know the Gariki village. You need to see the difference between the Gariki that we know and the Gariki village that is in the existence. Some of us know Kuje because we pass through Kuje to the way to the airport. But when you go to certain communities like Godoji community that is in Kuje, for instance, basic water they don't have. We visited the Godoji community, and the source of water they have is a pond. And let me shock you that that source of water, where that water is, has been given to somebody, sold to somebody, and the person is right now in the process of fencing it off. As soon as that water is fenced off, it means that the people in Godoji community may not have access to even that pond water to drink. There's Ushafa. We all hear about Ushafa. We all know that water board works. In some of our homes, we just turn on the tap and the tap comes on. The people from the water board, they come to collect money from us. Water is brought from the Shafa Dam, but the people in the Shafa community don't have potable water. So that is how bad the issues are, and that is why it's important that everybody must jump on this issue and ensure that the right things are done.
Dorcas Olariwaju, Voice TV, Nigeria.